think I speak for most Formula One fans when I say that we're pretty disappointed in Aston Martin's performance considering where we expected them to be. And obviously, most of us being super happy for Sebastian to get out of Ferrari and to be moving to Aston Martin and getting a clean start. We all kind of thought things were going to be on the up and up. The new livery was very well received for the most part throughout the community, going back to the Aston Martin kind of, dark to forest green. And everything looked like it was going to be on the up and up. And, considering the team formerly known as Racing Point finished third in the Constructors just a year before, to look at this 2021 season now that it's over and to think that Aston Martin is just a complete afterthought with a couple of decent performances, from Seb, and unfortunately he had one of those stripped away from him in Hungary. It was really a forgetful year for Aston Martin, and that is disappointing, but I don't think it's going to be a constant downhill slope for the team. I think with everything that they are developing, obviously, the factory, their own factory that they'll have, I think, up relatively soon if they don't already. I think all those things are going to fall into place and they will do much better come this 2022 season. I definitely think with Sebastian being new to the team, he had to really dial into the car. And I think towards the end of the season, you could see for the most part, he was doing better. Granted, there were obviously a couple of races and a couple of hiccups where he finished, 15th and 16th down the order. But for the most part, I felt like when the car was dialed in and when the circumstances were right, Sebastian was dialed in. Lance was kind of an afterthought himself, kind of always in the middle of the field. Maybe sometimes he'd qualify relatively high, but Lance really didn't make any noise this year compared to how well I thought he did last year. Him and Sergio as a team last year when that when that Racing Point was in top form. So fast in the straight line. It was. We understand what has happened with the regulation changes and how that Racing Point team, now known as Aston Martin, has gotten hit. You just have to think about how well even Lance did last year with Sergio in the pink Racing Points, and then this year in the green Aston Martins. Lance was a complete afterthought, and he didn't do anything that was really worthwhile throughout the majority of the season. So I'm really hoping next year this team is improved. I would hope that they would figure out what they need to do with the car. Clearly, it just seemed like they were a constant step behind as far as pace throughout the majority of the season. And then again, they had a couple of races throughout the calendar where the car was in the best shape to perform and obviously compete and to challenge for points. But outside of that, a lot of the season just felt like the car was just always a step behind the rest of the others in the midfield. So I'm hoping that in this 2022 season, come testing in Bahrain, they will have figured out exactly what the issue is, why it seemed like they were always off the pace and never really competitive. Get that dialed in. We know Lance Stroll can definitely, make moves and obviously move up the ladder in a very fast car. He demonstrated that with the Racing Point. Obviously, the team gets hit with his regulation changes, and then we don't see that same pace out of Lance. So we know as a driver he has it if he's in the right machinery, and we also know the same can obviously be said for the world champion in Sebastian Vettel. So I think they just need the right car dialed in underneath them, and we could see them doing much better come this 2022 season. But we have to hope that whatever development and things needed to be figured out in regards to the lack of pace and consistency that the Aston Martin had in this 2021 season, we can hope that the mechanics and everybody that's involved in that will have that figured out by March 2022. It's just my thoughts on the matter. You guys feel free to let me know yours in the comment section below. We should take it from there. I appreciate everybody that's shown support on the channel, your comments, engagement, any of that. I do appreciate it. Just a disclaimer, this is always casual conversation here. In fact, I should have said this at the beginning, but it's besides the point. Casual conversation. I won't really get into the super technical aspects of Formula One, but again, casual conversation that can be addressed to everybody is how I like to talk about Formula One. Unfortunately, that is all the time I have for you guys today, but I will see you all later. Goodbye.